hell did you get in here?
Through the mail slot. I thought it would be best if I waited inside. Seeing how I'm wanted for murder.
No kidding.
Who Framed Roger Rabbit was a project that had a lot of versions over the span of a decade before it actually got made. It was based on a book that was called Who Censored Roger Rabbit, and it was a lot darker than the version you know. Disney actually wanted to recreate the magic that they had with films like Mary Poppins, Bedknobs and Broomsticks, and Pete's Dragon, that combines live-action actors and animated cartoons. It took the right director in Robert Zemeckis and the right producer in Steven Spielberg to make this deal happen and to bring this movie to the audience. But is the movie any good? I'm Meffistoe. Like, share, and subscribe because this is my review of the movie Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
The best part is, they work for peanuts.
You might think Roger Rabbit is yet another one of those movies that blend animation and live action, but a part of the reason why this movie works is the fact that a new technique allowed the animators to add extra layers to the borders of the cartoon in order to make them look more rounded and a little bit more real, together with yet another technique that blended in lights and shadows on top of the existing animation and made the cartoon feel like they were a part of their environment, and not just a 2D animation on top of a live-action film.
Get out of here.
All that and a clever use of puppetry allowed the actors to look directly into the eyes of the cartoons, and if they made a mistake, the animators can adjust the animation in case something happened in the live-action shoot.
Cut the bullshit.
You keep talking like that and I'm gonna have to wash your mouth out.
The story is set in LA in 1947. Eddie Valiant is summoned to the offices of R.K. Maroon from Maroon Toons. R.K. wants Eddie to spy on Jessica Rabbit, the wife of Roger Rabbit, his star Toon actor. Eddie is an alcoholic private detective that used to work in Toontown with his late brother. However, since his brother's death, he mostly drank rather than actually worked. Valiant heads off to the Ink and Paint Club to get the lowdown on Jessica Rabbit, but gets quite a shock to discover how she actually looks like.
She's married to Roger Rabbit.
Yeah. What a lucky girl.
Eddie takes some pictures of Jessica Rabbit playing patty cake with Marvin Acme, the creator of many props the Toon used and also owns Toontown. Then at the Maroon offices, RK and Valiant show those pictures to Roger, who swears to avenge his wife's disgrace.
Rise above this piddling picadillo. We're gonna be happy again. You got that? Happy. P-P-I.
The next morning, Eddie discovers that the rabbit is wanted for murder because he apparently dropped a safe over Acme's head.
The rabbit cacked him last night.
He's also introduced to Judge Doom, who assumes the case. The judge seems to have something against the Toons and also having some fun.
Stop that laughing!
Turns out that Roger heard all about Eddie's former exploits working in Toontown and hides at Eddie's place. The judge's Toon Patrol nearly catches him there after following a few leads.
What's in there?
My lingerie.
See, Valiant.
Regardless, Roger's friend Baby Herman already warned Valiant that Roger isn't really the murdering type, and then there are other things that might be afoot.
I tell you, Valiant, the whole thing stinks like yesterday's diapers.
Having no other choice, Eddie turns to his girlfriend Dolores to help out since Roger managed to cuff himself to Eddie. But he also wants her to help him find out what is going on because he too believes that there are more to the story.
But tell me, Eddie, is that a rabbit in your pocket or are you just happy to see me?
Later on, Eddie finds out that the picture he took was set up. RK Maroon tricked him, Jessica Rabbit tricked him, and he just might have to go back to Toontown to find Marvin Acme's real murderer, and that is something that he's really afraid to do.
Where you been?
Drunk. You feeling frisky tonight, fellas?
Yeah!
If you've seen any or all of the movies that I've mentioned in my intro and have not seen this movie just yet, you are in for a treat. It is such a big improvement on all of them, and it is such a great, fantastic achievement for animation, even though it was done under heavy pressure to make the due date for the studio and, of course, go over the budget a lot. Sadly, we will never see this kind of movie ever again due to no small part of the techniques used in this film actually helped develop the CGI technology we know today.
Anything.
What a wife.
I'm desperate, Mr. Valiant. Can't you see how much I need you?
The only two actors I want to comment on in this movie is Bob Hoskins as Eddie and Christopher Lloyd as Judge Doom. Hoskins is a British actor, but when I saw this movie for the very first time, I was too young to know this fact. Regardless, he has a great American accent fitting for the time period as well.
The job's gonna cost you $100 plus expenses.
$100? That's ridiculous.
So's the job.
Bob slipped quite comfortably into this noir detective type, a PI that is also a lush and suffering a personal trauma that haunts him so much he cannot stand the sight of the one thing that makes everybody else happy: these lovable tunes.
We're investigating a robbery at the First National Bank of Toontown. Back in those days, me and Teddy liked working in Toontown.
Hoskins also did a great job acting in front of a non-existent rabbit and other tunes, and he really sold you on the physical comedy. As for Lloyd, he is such a diverse actor, from playing a Klingon in The Search for Spock or Doc Emmett L. Brown in Back to the Future, and all the way around to playing Judge Doom. He made you hate him from the first moment you see him until his last moments on screen. He's the ultimate foil to Roger and Eddie, and his cold, calculating behavior sends chills down your spine, and you believe him that he will take no crap from the tunes.
Mr. Maroon, he told us the rabbit became quite agitated when you showed him the pictures. The rabbit said one way or another, he and his wife are going to be happy.
Putting the animated part aside, Who Framed Roger Rabbit is a great detective noir film set in LA and deals with show business. It is set in the same time as a previous film I covered called LA Confidential, and it has some plot points that run very parallel to each other, but it is a completely different tone. LA Confidential focuses on the police side of things, and Roger Rabbit focuses on the show business of things. And because the particular show business is cartoons, the wacky and crazy nature of them dominates the story and inserts a lot of comedy into the storyline.
I feel ear to the ground. Why nobody gets the drop on Roger Rabbit.
I will highly recommend you watch this movie. The animation and the live action seemingly blend so much better than any other Disney movie of its kind, and allows you to suspend your disbelief and really think that these tunes actually exist in the space. Personally, I have a strong bond with this movie since my dad took me to watch this movie. My dad and I used to watch a lot of old Warner Brothers cartoons, which were much wackier than the Disney cartoons at the time, and it really shows up in this particular movie, because Zemeckis took it in the Tex Avery route rather than the usual Disney wholesome family route. And I hope you can make similar connections with your loved one over this movie as well.
What are you doing here?
Work's been kind of slow since cartoons went to color. But I still got it, Eddie. Boop, boop-be-doo.
I thank you for watching, and remember, hope is a good thing, maybe even the best of things, and no good thing ever dies. I'll see you on the next video.